We are back. Welcome to Green Room Radio. My name is True. I am here with Mr. Anthony Deo.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Feel good.
We got little Rach in the house.
Hey.
And we have a very special guest today, producer Mark Payne. How are you, Mark?
Mark Payne.
Good. Welcome.
Let's
Thank
go.
you so much. Welcome to Las Vegas, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So what you can start that out, Rachel.
Yeah, right?
What got you? Where are you from? Let's start from the beginning.
I was born in the Bronx, New York City.
Okay.
My family is immediately from the West Indies, St. Croix,
Okay.
Virgin Islands. I spent a little bit of time when I was born. 8 years old, I left New York and I went to the Virgin Islands for a little while, where I actually learned music.
Wow.
Was in the Virgin
In
Islands?
the Virgin Islands, yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a way to survive. It wasn't, something that I wanted to learn music. It was just a way to survive. It wasn't a
When you
job.
say learn music, what do you mean by that? Like an instrument or just beats?
Instruments, pretty
Instruments.
much.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the locals would play music. They played the ukuleles and the guitars and bongos and stuff like that. And my uncle was a bongo player. He played bongos in the park. So when we went out there, he couldn't afford bongos, so he'd take a plastic bucket, turn it upside down, and make it into a bongo.
I still see that in New York City
Yeah.
sometimes. I
Yeah.
see people doing the buckets.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would take a little pineapple can, take the bottom out of it, bend it, and make a cowbell out of it.
Oh, wow.
So
Ooh.
yeah, so we would, and when I was younger, we'd go into town and we'd go play for the tourists, and then we'd collect change and stuff like that. But I wasn't aware that I was learning music in the
Oh,
process.
right. Now, you
Yeah.
said you played to survive. Was it dangerous in the West
No,
Indies?
not at
Oh,
all.
okay.
Not
So
at
what you mean by you played to survive?
So there
Probably
weren't no
get some
jobs.
change.
There weren't no jobs.
Oh, okay.
So it's a very small place. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like the radius of like maybe 20, 30 miles
Mm,
on both sides of the island.
okay.
And, it's just, the government has to step in and take care of everyone there because the jobs are scarce. When it comes to like government jobs, police officers, lawyers, stuff like that, all of those jobs are just pretty much gone.
So
You
there's
know what I
not
mean?
really like the rich there.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a tourist place.
What was the first? Did you come up? So in my era, when we were in school, we came up on that recorder. Did you know that little recorder
yeah.
in music class? Did
I
you
did
ever?
too.
Was that that wasn't in your era?
No.
They made a lot of people do that. Like that was the first instrument, I guess you could say I played.
Yeah.
But I never understood that. It's almost like a clarinet, but it's that was what they would teach you on. So that was in your era.
Yeah, I did the recorder.
Yeah. So
I was great at the recorder.
what was the first instrument you learned?
So it was the cowbell.
The
cowbell.
I called it
Oh,
a
nice.
cowbell. It wasn't a cowbell, but I called it the cowbell. But I got to play the cowbell, because the islanders, the locals,
Yeah.
would have instruments. So when we would go into the parades and stuff like that, I would have access to the real cowbells. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And I would play. At that age, 8 or 9 years old, I'd be in the parades playing the cowbell.
Now
So you
let
started
me.
with percussion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in percussion too when I was younger.
So now the cowbell, I was always under the impression the cowbell, it has like one sound, but maybe I'm wrong where you like really, you was doing that cowbell. Like that cowbell was rocking.
Even on
You was
that
rocking-
can, depending on where you hit that
Yes.
pineapple can,
Yes.
different noises from
Exactly.
different parts.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used the end of a mop stick. And I knew how to
I
make
love it.
sounds with that mop stick.
Oh, you was from West Indies for real.
Yeah, so, and then my uncle was very strict on me. So he was like, you need to play the way I tell you. You know what I mean? So I had to really know how to play with that mop stick.
Did you understand anything about notes then? Like, could you hit the can and no?
The only thing I thought was intriguing was when someone played the ukulele.
Yeah, I'm a big
Like, I was
fan of
like, How does
ukulele.
he do that? How does he hit
Little
those
small.
notes?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, what do you think about that instrument? I mean, what made me really appreciate it was going to Hawaii, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
they're for real on that,
Yes.
and you don't see that a lot. And I always wonder,
Yeah.
why don't
Yeah.
more groups, I guess, use the ukulele?
I think that it's not a very popular guitar.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
It-
And it's like when the individuals are seen with it, it's kind of like, oh, you're just learning how to play the guitar, so you're playing that
Oh, like
Ah.
a baby guitar.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of like a
Like, oh,
starter,
you're starting
probably.
out.
Easy to hit those
It's-
strings, you know what I mean?
It's
Yeah.
so, yeah. You couldn't see like Kiss coming
Yeah.
out with
No.
the goddamn ukulele.
Yeah.
It's just
No.
kind of a corny guitar. It looked corny.
It doesn't
Yeah.
look badass.
Yeah, nah, you can't
whatever.
come
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah, when we
Uh.
saw the real acoustic guitars, he was like, "Oh, he's playing that guitar." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But ukuleles, it was like, no.
Nah, come on. son.
So from the cowbell, what did you move to after that?
So then I left the Virgin Islands,
Mm-hmm.
and then I moved to New York. Moved to Long Island.
Now, how old were you then? Now, how old were you now?
Maybe
Moving back to New
about-
York.
When I moved back to New York, I was about maybe 10.
Okay.
Okay, so
And
still
then,
young.
yeah, and then I lived with my aunt on Long Island for a little while. Wasn't thinking about music.
Okay.
I'm not playing no more instruments. I was just, because
You
when
young,
you live
yeah.
in a place like that, and because I would stay up late at night, you know what I mean, on a school night, you know what I mean, playing music all night. And so I'd be exhausted the next day in school, you know what I mean? So when I left to go stay with my aunt in Central Islip, it was like,
The relief. Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Has some of that
I
relief.
wasn't thinking about music at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Well,
I think-
you're very lucky to grow up in New York, because it's such a music culture place. I'm still like, I've been out here in Vegas since '05, and it's just like I don't feel any. There's a lot of music people out here, but I
Yes.
don't feel any culture at
Yeah.
all. So
Yeah.
New York seems to be the pinnacle of where
Yeah.
everything
pretty much.
starts.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So then I ended up going back to the Virgin Islands.
Mm.
Oh.
And then I stayed with my grandmother for a little while.
Now, how old were you when you went back?
I was about I was in the second, third grade. Maybe
Okay.
about 11.
Okay, so you was like 1 year long,
Yeah.
Long Island, and you went
I
back.
was badass. So, my mom was like,
Oh, they was just
Oh,
Like, you
God.
gotta go.
So-
God damn, it's kicking you off the island and everything.
Yeah.
You were gonna take his ass back to the island.
yeah. And so I've stayed there for a little while until I was maybe 13.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back to New York, and that's when I stayed in the Bronx. That's when I saw everything when I went to New York. When I came back to New York. It's about early 79, 80.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember watching this kid. This is what brought me into music. I remember I had a friend in school. His name was Eric. And I knew nothing about breakdancing and popping. And I went to his projects, and we were hanging in the park, and he just started. And I was like, yo, do that again? You know what I mean? And so he was like,
Yeah.
and he started popping, and I was like, yo, I was interested right away.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I want to learn how to do that too. Then he started taking me to block parties.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember.
So this your
hearing about
first
those.
introduction to block
Yes,
parties right
yes.
now. And you 13.
At 13,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Stayed with my uncle. You know what I'm saying? My uncle
Mhm.
was the same guy that was in St. Croix. I was with St. Croix.
Mm-hmm.
He was living in the Bronx.
Right.
So they sent me to go live with him for a little while.
Oh, okay.
And then so I would go to the block parties with my friend Eric.
Mm-hmm.
And then Eric was like, yo, did you know that they take the DJ stands and they do that, da, 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 da. Yo, you see how they plug it into the... And that's when I started learning about how the DJs were mixing and, plugging and stuff. I wasn't thinking about music.
Right.
I was still thinking about popping and breakdancing and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I actually just recently, it was at that AVN party that we were at.
Yeah.
We had booked DJ Scribble, which is obviously, he was the first DJ to ever do it on TV. But he actually introduced me. I mean, I didn't recognize him, but the main guy of the Rocksteady crew. So I guess were you familiar with those guys?
Yeah,
Those were
yeah,
that was
yeah.
probably in your day,
I
right
have some
on them.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he introduced me to. He's like, "This is the head of the Rocksteady." I forget what he said his name was,
Right.
but I knew who those guys were. I was
Okay.
like, "Well, I know they were badass breakers."
Right. Now, what got me into music is Flashdance.
Okay. Now what's Flash? Now tell us about that.
Flashdance, the song itself, what a feeling.
Oh,
it
yeah.
stuck to me, and I was like, yo, that's like every time the radio came on, I was like, my ears was like, I gotta hear that song. And then I started making noises with my mouth
Okay.
and trying to imitate the song. And I was like, why am I making these noises? You know what I mean? And then I would try to sound similar to the record, you know what I mean? And then I left the Bronx, and then I went to Queens. I moved to Queens. And I went to Andrew Jackson High School. That's where a lot of popular artists came from. Run DMC, LL Cool J, Fushnikins, a lot of artists that we knew from back in the early 90s
Right.
went to school in Andrew Jackson.
How
So-
How far is the Bronx from? You said the Bronx from what? Brooklyn? Did you say?
Bronx from Queens.
Queens.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like I know when I was in New York, like I said, I'm still not familiar with how everything works, but these are all pretty close
Yeah.
to each other,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
About like say if you're driving, it's maybe about a 20, 30-minute ride.
Yeah.
On the train, of course, it's a little longer, but it's very accessible. You know what I mean? It's just over the bridge
Yeah.
and you're there. You know what I mean?
And is it a thing like do Queens people don't fuck with Bronx people or vice versa?
I mean, at one time it was like that.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like where they felt like every borough had something to claim.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like the Bronx felt like we created hip hop, nobody else can claim this.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when Marley Marl
Mm-hmm.
worked with MC Shan, the deal was that I believe Chris, KRS-One, had presented his information to Marley Marl,
Okay.
and Marley Marl wasn't interested. So Chris did a song called "The Bridge Is Over,"
The bridge is over.
and then he got
Mm-hmm.
in contact with DJ Red Alert. DJ Red Alert liked the song, and then it became a phenomenal
Yeah, that's a
hit
That's a
in
hit.
the Bronx, all over New York
Yeah,
City.
back then, I think, to now, where you're probably wondering, Rachel, I think a lot of stuff, was like what you were saying, getting it to the DJs.
Yes.
The
Right.
DJs is really what was pushing the
Pretty
music
Oh,
scene.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that
Now that's
so,
an LL disc, right? The bridge is over. Or who?
no.
that's
That was against MC Shan.
okay, MC Shan.
Marley
Okay.
Marl and MC Shan.
Okay.
But that was because the Bronx was claiming hip hop. They was like, no,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, hip hop is a, you know what I'm saying? You guys are doing hip hop,
Yeah.
but remember that the Bronx created this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Mark, come a little bit to your mic. I'm sorry.
yeah, so we're claiming
Mhm.
hip hop by telling you,
Mm-hmm.
we're the originators, and we're gonna dead you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It really wasn't. I don't think it was intentional. Like they really wanted to beef like that.
Right.
I just think that it was that Chris felt like this is a Bronx thing. You know what I'm saying? We're claiming hip hop as a Bronx thing, and you guys can't do it better than us. So I want to do a song called "The Bridge Is Over." You know what I'm saying? So
I'm not even familiar. I mean, I'm sure if I heard it, I would be. You're
Yeah,
familiar with
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
the bridge
Yeah.
is
It was-
over. The
it was
bridge is over.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song's hard.
yeah. And I think at that time I wasn't doing music yet. Everybody was trying to learn how to rap.
Right.
Of course, I watched Run DMC, Sucker MCs, and stuff like that. I think Sucker MCs what kind of really got me into more rapping at the time. I
Okay.
wasn't into music yet. I was still popping, trying to be a part of the breakdancing community and
Can
stuff
you
like
still
that.
do that today?
Breaking,
Popping?
popping. Oh yeah.
Oh, he made that face.
Once you learn it,
His wife said,
once
yep.
you learn it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never
Um,
He
forget
still be
that.
doing it around the house too, probably too.
Hey, do you remember when they actually
While
came
dinner's
out when they were
cooking.
coming out with the that Alfonso from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? They were selling those breakdancing boards. Like I remember ordering one,
serious?
the cardboard.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it came
Oh,
to the
you're
house.
right, because he was
I
on a
did-
commercial.
Yes.
Yes,
I,
he was
I had
pushing
one.
it.
He
Everybody.
sold a program, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Carlton
Yeah.
off the Fresh Prince.
Yep.
Yeah.
it was they called it what was it? Was his name Alfonso on
Yeah,
there?
his name was Alf. His
But
name,
it
well,
was
his real
the,
name
it
is
was
Alfonso.
the breaking board.
Yeah.
So you put the board down. It was really just a piece of cardboard. And
Right.
you break dance on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as I got, maybe about 17, 18, 19,
Mm-hmm.
I met Black Rob.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Okay.
But
Like, whoa.
I met him in a crazy situation. Like I met him where, I had a fire in my home, and I had nowhere to go, so I ended up in a shelter. And Rob had just been released from prison, and I met him getting ready to fight somebody.
Oh wow.
And the counselor was like, no, don't fight, because you're going to get kicked out. You ain't going to have nowhere to go. And so I kind of was like, yo, Rob, chill. You know what I'm saying? And so he sat down on the couch and we just kind of was vibing. I didn't know he knew how to rap.
Right.
Then I remember leaving and coming back and he was rapping and I was like, yo, this dude's phenomenal. And all the counselors were like, yo, he's dope. Yeah, he's going to be a star one day.
Right.
And so he and I kind of like, we hung out a lot. Like I bought a little Dr. Rhythm
What
drum
was that?
machine.
Was Black Rob? Did he end up with Diddy? Was he
Yeah.
under Bad Boy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I bought a little Dr. Rhythm drum machine. That's when I started doing music. And then I started doing little programmings on this little walk around drum machine. And Rob would rap to the beats that I would make for him.
Oh
This
wow.
was back in the 80s, you
Yeah.
said?
So Black
Oh,
Rob
wow.
kind of inspired you to kind of get on those beats,
He
then,
was
huh?
my ghostwriter. He was the first
Wow.
one to write a
Damn.
rap for me.
Wow.
Hey, no, that's like whoa.
Like whoa.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
dope. And then I lost contact with him, and then I met him like years later. I ran into him in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? Before he was signed with Puffy.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I just got on with Michael Bivins. East Coast family. I had just signed with Motown Records.
Oh, wow.
And I ran into him, and he was like, "Yo, what's up, yo? You know, we're gonna do some."
So
work."
when you sign with Motown, I'm mind blank right now. My mind's in a bunch of places. Founder of Motown, Berry Gordy. Did you sign directly with him, or did he have
Yeah, how
other
was that
guys there?
process?
No. So Gerald Busby was the CEO when
Okay.
I signed to Motown.
It's crazy. I was born and raised in Detroit, and I never went
Yeah.
and saw the Motown house, which is
Oh, that
beyond
is
me.
interesting. Yeah, that is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's your
Shame-
crib right
shame.
there.
Yeah, it is a shame.
That's your crib.
It's like not going to Broadway in New York.
Yeah.
Like City.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
not going. Are you living in Manhattan and you never been over the bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
No, it's
You ain't never been over the bridge.
Hitsville is big, man. A lot of people go to Detroit just for that.
right.
And the crazy thing with Berry Gordy, which is more in your era, Little Rach, is Berry Gordy was Red Foo's
Oh.
dad. Red Foo from, what is that? They call him LMFAO.
Oh my.
Red, and then Blue Sky Blue was his cousin, and that's Tito Jackson and Berry Gordy's sister's kid.
Oh,
So
wow.
Sky Blue and Red Foo came from Motown, so they already had
wow.
money when they did.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. I'm like, Red Foo is Berry
Yeah.
Gordy's son.
Right.
So meaning they
Well,
were
that makes
just they were
sense,
just
how
they
they
were
blew
rich
up.
kids
Yeah.
Wow.
already before
Yeah.
they even got into music, and
Right.
you know that was kind of a crazy little trend that
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
they were
well,
That
popping.
time.
Party rock
Uh-huh.
is what they called it.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna
Didn't
tie
really last
everything
long.
into
Yeah.
you guys. I'm gonna tie
Yeah,
it in.
tie it
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
We need to
So
know.
Yeah.
what happened is, I met a female on a job I was working at on 33rd Street at Smith Barney. It was a stockbrokers firms, and at that time I was doing music. I was sampling and stuff like that and doing beats.
Okay.
And a friend of mine was like, "Yo, your stuff is dope. I want to let you." What this female upstairs, I wanted to hear your music. And so I was like, all right, cool. I was really reluctant. I was like, nah, I don't think I'm good enough. And he's like, nah, your stuff's dope. Let me. So he let her hear it. Next day she came and she was like, yo, your stuff is dope. I like how you sampling, blah, blah, blah. Yo, I want to manage you. I said, all right, cool. Guess who she was?
Don't say Erica Badu.
No.
No.
Irene Cara's sister.
Oh.
So
not-
I
I'm
was
not familiar
already
with her.
infatuated with Irene Cara from Flashdance.
Oh, yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
then now I've run into her sister.
wow.
Wow.
And then she wants to manage me. So
That's
I'm like, oh,
crazy.
sweat. And then I ended up talking with Irene Cara on the phone. And she was like, I heard your stuff. I like your stuff. I want to do some work with you, blah, blah, blah. You
And
know what I'm
that's how
saying?
you got signed on. Wow.
And
Yeah,
how
it was
did
crazy.
you run into Michael Bivins?
So Finesse, the guy that was my partner,
Okay.
I was working with Rob Bass at that time.
Ooh.
And
That's I Want to Rock
Um,
right now? No.
yeah.
it
Okay,
takes
yeah.
two.
Takes two,
It takes two.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I Want to Rock.
I was
right now,
working
too.
with him, and he was working on the third album, and the third album fell through.
Okay.
So I was working pretty much with him, and in between, I was trying to work with Finesse's. He was a manager, so he was managing other artists, and he was trying to.
So Finesse wasn't a music guy. He was just an outside
he was
manager.
in the music, but he was trying to juggle everything at one time.
Okay, gotcha.
So he and I wasn't really talking to each other.
Right.
Okay.
So he was like, "Yo," he left and was doing work with Michael Bivins already.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And where was Michael Bivins out of at this time?
Yeah, was he solo at this
was
point?
Was he in New York or?
he was in New York. He was in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And that's when he was working on the Poison album and stuff like that.
Okay, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Finesse had ran into him in Manhattan eating dinner with his family.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mike, they knew each other from back in the day, doing some shows and stuff like that with Run DMC.
Okay.
So he was like, yo, I'm working with an artist. I need some beats and whatever like that. So Finesse flew to California.
Mm-hmm.
He did two beats, right? And needed a third one. Right at that time, I said, I said, Finesse, I know you manage this artist. I wanted to do some music with me. He's like, better yet, let me come talk to you real quick. So he came to the house, right?
Mhm.
And he was like, yo, I got something better for you. Let me hear some of your music. So I didn't know what he was doing. And he's just like, let me just hear some of your tracks. So I was playing some music for him. And he was like, yo, later on, I need you to make sure you pack all your clothes because I'm coming back later on tonight to come get you. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? He's like, just be ready. Now, Finesse is the kind of person that when he comes, he goes, he never comes back. He's gone, and for a couple of days, you're like, he ain't coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So the day he told me that, he shows up that night, and I'm already in my pajamas getting ready to go to sleep.
Right.
So he's like, yo, I told you to get ready. Yo, what's wrong with you? I'm like, yo, I didn't know you was coming back. He's like, look out the window. And then I was like, oh, sweat, there's a limousine sitting on the side, on the curb. She's like, pack all your stuff. We have to go now. So we broke out and flew to California that night.
Wow.
He didn't tell me where he was going. He said that we get on the plane and we going somewhere. And then I ended up on the plane going to California to work on MC Brain's third song on his album. And then he was like, yo, I'm just going to let you know right now, I'm going to introduce you to Michael Bivins.
Oh,
New
wow,
Edition.
wow.
And I was like, I was overwhelmed.
Man, that's crazy. So
I was like, oh, are you
All the
serious?
And what
stars
year
were
is this
lining
one?
up.
This was in 19...
because it was Belle Biv DeVoe first, then New Edition came along. Or
No,
am I
New
first?
Edition first.
New Edition
Yeah,
first,
yeah,
then
then
Belle.
Belle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mhm.
Yep.
This was about 1990, 91 maybe.
Oh, okay.
And I remember it was right after Poison.
Okay,
You know what
right
I'm
after
saying?
Poison.
Yeah, because ABC was out.
Yes.
And
And just for people to know, that's another bad creation.
yeah,
Mhm.
Who put them out? Was that
Michael Bivins.
Michael Bivins? Okay.
And then Boys to Men dropped, the Motown Philly.
Yes.
And I
sir.
remember being in the house watching them on video, and my boy was like, "Yo, they're gonna blow up. They're gonna be a dope." You know what
You
I'm saying?
talking about Boys and Men?
Boys to Men.
Yeah.
I'm watching
Yeah.
them on video.
Mhm.
And Finesse takes me out to California. I meet Michael Bivins, and lo and behold, 2 days later, I'm looking at Boys to Men. I'm staring at them, and I'm like, "There's no way." I just saw them on video.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So Finesse sounds like he
So
was
surreal.
like a connector.
Yeah,
And some
pretty
of
much.
certain,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Guys like that too.
yeah, yeah.
But man, so he brought. So when they came out, what they did they come out of Philly? Or they?
Boys to Men?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so he got him out to L.A.
yeah.
and then
so
you
what
actually
happened
got
was
to meet him face to
Mike-
face.
Boys to Men was actually the background singers for Aisha.
Mm.
Oh wow!
Another bad creation.
Another that song Aisha.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You
And
remember that song?
No, kind of.
Aisha, that's-
yeah,
that's-
kinda,
Yeah.
right? So Mike, me and Mike were very close.
Yeah.
So he tell me a lot of stories about Boys to Men.
Right.
So he was like, I wouldn't let him. I wouldn't release them. I said, why? He said because they couldn't dance.
Oh, they
They
couldn't
all
dance.
had. They all
That's
had
crazy.
left feet.
Yeah.
That's what you
Two left
had at that point, at that time, as a boy band. You
Yeah.
kind of
You
have
had
to
to
know how to
dance.
dance,
Yeah.
right? That's just kind of the
Right.
Yeah.
As a band, you just kind of have
I'm,
to know
think,
how
I'm
to dance.
thinking back now, and yeah, Boys to Men never really did dance. They just
Yeah.
had the little sways.
Yes.
Mhm.
And he was like, I
Yeah.
used to put him in the hotel room, and I would tell him, I can't do nothing with you. You know what I'm saying? And then they said, give us one more chance, and come back in another couple of weeks. And Mike said he came back to the hotel they were staying in, and they sat him down. They made a ring of clothes, like a big circle, and then they performed for him. And he said it blew his mind.
Yeah.
And he said at that point he knew they was ready.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
can
I
dance
didn't. I
now.
didn't realize till later on. I went to their show over at the Mirage, and I was with a girl from Australia who knew what's the lead singer's name, the one that lives here.
Wanye?
Wanye.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
I didn't even realize that Wanye was like basically the whole voice.
Yeah.
You know,
Wanye
and
does all the
that's
singing.
yeah. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought it was like a mutual. Everybody kind of threw their thing on it. And when I went with this girl, she's like, my boy's Wanye. He's like, he's basically the whole. He's every song.
Yeah.
And I was like, really?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah. The other guys were just harmony.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know that.
Working with them in the studio, I would see him do most of the work.
Right.
Yep.
Him and Sean.
Mm-hmm.
And was Wanye? Was he a writer? Was he writing these or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
You write them too.
Did they have some ghost written songs or?
Maybe Motown Philly might have been a written song,
Yeah.
but I'm not 100% sure about that. You know what I mean?
And did they all take when you said that? So like Wanye, I mean, was it a collaborative effort? Like I know there's the guy Sean and another guy, but they were kind of all writing together as a group, as a
Yes,
whole.
pretty much.
Okay.
So on the East Coast Family song that I was on, the One for All, I watched them write their part. know what I'm
okay.
saying?
Right.
Like I watched them. We press the ingress to
Wow.
oh yeah. I watched them do that, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, they nice. You know what I'm saying? And
Man, that was such a big era.
yeah,
I think I was in Element,
yeah,
junior high maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was a lot of artists that adapted to ghostwriting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we had me and Finesse. We were pretty much like the producers of everything, right? The writers and producers, and so we would give Mike all these ideas. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Yo, I think it would be hot if it went this way. You know what I'm saying? We kind of swayed them into the jiggy.
Okay.
Now, if you go into history, into music history, me and Finesse were the first ones to use the word jiggy. Way
Wow.
before
So
anybody
that
else.
would be. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is
Get a
Will
jiggy
Will
with it.
Smith
Yeah.
saying "get jiggy
Yeah.
with
no,
it."
he's not the creator.
He's
No.
not the creator.
Well,
Okay.
Will is good
If
for
you
that. He'll
go-
snatch something from you.
Yeah. Me,
There's a lot of
mine,
Celebrities are good at that.
mine and Finesse's part. Wait,
Yeah.
riggedy rough. You can check it. Mark Rockwood's Finesse. So flip the riggedy record, flip it. The mic if you can rap it, jiggity down with the Bip 10 posse. So now you're open, G. So we was already using the word jiggy. You know what I'm saying? And Mike's style
crazy.
that he was giving everybody was kind of like, you know, the jiggy. Like everybody had to have a style,
Right.
a mood, a vibe, and we called
swag.
that jiggy.
Okay, yeah.
And Boyz II Men had a dance called the jiggy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Right.
So they actually finally made a dance. They came up with a dance.
yeah.
I'm trying to think. Do they dance
No,
now?
Boys and Men can dance though. Look, they had. I mean, they danced.
I
on a
saw
few
their
songs.
show probably about 5 years ago, but I just like I said, I'm
I was
so blown away. And then they talked to people at their show,
Yeah.
and they were talking about how the guy that ended up as their bass guy.
Mike.
They wanted the other guy who's with them now, but yeah, the bass guy actually left the group, and the
Yeah.
one that was currently whatever. So they went back to the original guy they wanted in
Oh.
the first place. So.
oh, okay.
But I'm just like, what the hell happened to that guy?
No,
Like,
they
Yeah.
still amazing.
How did he not jump on that train?
I kind of felt like it was a lot of success for them. A lot.
Yeah.
And I think when you're that young, right, and you have that much come at you at one time,
Right.
it can overwhelm you because
Oh yeah.
I don't think a lot of artists was really ready for that much success.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when it came at them, remember Boyz II Men broke Elvis Presley's record.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't even know
So,
that. A record at what?
The most played
Most played.
on the radio,
Right.
right? And so
Yeah.
when you have that much success come at you,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? When it's not expected,
Right.
it can overwhelm you. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like, for instance, content creator. You only have one follower, right?
Okay.
Killing yourself. You're killing yourself.
Yeah.
You're killing yourself, right? Then you get 2 and 3 and 4. Then all of a sudden it explodes. And now you got 50,000 people, right? And then they're all coming at you with questions, and you can get overwhelmed by having that many people follow you at
100%.
one time.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And
you
then-
don't adapt to that.
Yeah, and it's like when it comes to money, fame, the perception of you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How do you handle it?
Yeah.
How do you handle this success because you're on top of the world? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
How old would you say those guys were, Boyz II Men, when they broke out? Like
I would say I was 22, so I would say they was about maybe 18, 19.
Oh yeah, they
Oh,
still
younger.
was boys. They wasn't even to
Yeah.
men yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boys, Jim.
even
Getting there.
even Belle Biv DeVoe
Uh-huh.
and Another Bad Creation, they were super young, right?
Yeah, Mike, when I first Mike, he was like 22, 21, 22.
Another
around my
Bad
age.
Creation was
Oh,
way
wow.
way younger, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like I met Red when he was about maybe 9 or 10.
What did they say in that song? Boys to Men, ABC,
Yeah.
BVD.
Yeah, that's on Motown Philly.
Yeah, Motown Philly.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, yeah, that's crazy. So even for like Another Bad Creation, like what you're saying, those guys are having trouble with all that fame coming and adapting.
Well, what
and
happened?
you got these little guys like that and like a crisscross, like it's like imagine them.
Right.
Like,
So that's what I'm saying. So it's very competitive. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't considered pop.
Mm.
ABC wasn't considered pop. They was considered hip hop R&B. See what I'm saying? So when Crisscross came out, right? That boom, 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 that was pop. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they put it in
hip
pop.
hop.
Okay.
And their intentions, right? Because they were from Atlanta as well, was that they were going to be the next group that was going to take over Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter who's in the way. And so when their target was, oh, we see them wearing their clothes backwards, we're going to do it too, but we're going to do it in a whole nother way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so when they attacked, because the sound was so big, Jermaine captured that sound, you know what I'm saying, of hip hop and it adapted to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? It kind of like kind of softened up the ABC and it was like, okay, what do we do now? You know what I'm saying? I remember working on ABC's second album, right? And Mike was like, okay, what do we do now? You know what I'm saying? Because Crisscross was so dynamic at what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? And then the crisscross and make it jump. It was trendy, right? So it's like, okay, so what do we do now? So Mike he was getting Busta, you know what I'm saying? To write for them and stuff like that. He got me. He got a few other people to write for them.
You talking about Busta Rhymes?
Busta Rhymes, yeah.
Was writing for Crisscross?
Was writing for ABC.
For ABC. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So they just didn't know what to do, you know what I'm saying? Because ABC was from Atlanta, Crisscross was from Atlanta, and they had more of an impact on taking over that industry and that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That crowd of individuals.
Do you feel like at the time for Atlanta, being as though New York and, you know, a lot of the, you know, East Coast kind of had hip hop and R&B on lock, did you feel like ABC and Crisscross had a hard time to prevail? You know, like being as though it was so challenging. Like, I mean, it was the East Coast was New York. It was like New York had it on lock.
Right. I think that everybody was so afraid of crossing over. And I think that's what kind of like kept a lot of New Yorkers, people from on the East Coast, they got held back because they were afraid of, that's crossover.
If you making music with people from the South.
Yeah. That's kind of like the bubble gum.
Like you're trading.
You know what I'm
You're a
saying?
trader.
We need to keep it hardcore hip hop.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So they didn't want to go into those areas of you're too colorful. You know what I'm saying?
So that was kind of like a Jermaine Dupri type of area.
Yes.
Those were the
Right.
people
He took
that he
advantage
was
of that situation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Ludacris, right? So Ludacris took advantage of the Atlanta sound and the East Coast vibe.
Right.
So if you listen to how Ludacris raps, he's not really a Southern rapper. He's more of an East Coast rapper.
Yeah, it was
You know
just
what I'm
flow,
saying?
fast flow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love the beginning Luda stuff.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
I know his manager, Shaka Zulu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went
know him
to
too.
95.
Did you know
05.
one of my really good friends, JC, started out as his DJ, but he was from Detroit. I think something went on midway through where he wasn't his DJ no more. But yeah, no, I loved Luda when he first came out, and people wondered. He actually toured with us.
Yeah.
Our fan base going through the ATL, you know, we toured with him, and we also toured with Little John. And people are like, well, that's kind of a weird mix to throw on. Well, we didn't have a fan base going south that way.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why we put those guys on the tour.
Right.
That makes sense.
So
Yeah.
So when you went on that trip to California, and you came back to New York, what happened after that? Like where did everything go from there?
It was crazy. Like it was like
I want to hear.
like everybody. It was dead for a while because everybody was like, "Where'd he go?
Yeah.
How come Mark isn't around?" Because I used to get up every day and make beats until I couldn't make them anymore.
Oh wow.
And everybody was like, I'd get kind of like this. I feel bad because I'm up late night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Making music and I.
oh, I know that feeling.
So it's like when I was gone, everybody was like, "What happened?
Right.
How come Mark is gone?"
Yeah.
So when I came back, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They kind of got curious and they were like, "Why was you gone so long? Well, you used to hearing music upstairs. How come the music went away?" And then I kept it quiet and said,
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? And then after the East Coast Family video dropped, and then everybody started hearing it on the radio, and then everybody started watching the video, that's when it was like, he lives upstairs. You know what I'm saying? And then
What did you do?
Secrets out.
What did you do in the video?
me and Finesse was walking up the stairs, right?
Okay.
So we was in Houston in
That's
the Rice
funny.
Factory,
Okay.
and
The Rice Factory.
yeah, I actually thought of that idea.
What's a
I
Rice
said-
Factory?
I
Hold
said,
on.
I said, yo, Mike, you gotta be dirty and nasty.
Let's go to the rice factory.
Right.
It's dirty and nasty.
The best he could think about was an old dirty rice factory.
Noted. Never
I
going
said-
there.
I said, all right.
Right.
So we shot the video at the Rice Factory. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And our part was walking up the stairs, and you know we had on these flower shirts, which I really didn't like. I want to have like a New York. You know what I'm saying? I was
Yeah.
from New York, and having the flower shirts on was kind of like crossover.
It was.
Oh,
who picked
yeah.
that up?
Very
It was like-
crossover.
Crossover.
Who made that?
I
Who
get
made
it.
that choice?
That
Finesse.
decision.
Finesse did.
Yeah, he
Okay.
wildin'.
But he wanted to be jiggy. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be the the ladies guy, the fly guy.
Right.
I want to
Yeah.
have on the flower shirts, and I was like, that ain't gonna work. And then when we had the Motown signing with Mike Bivins and Gerald Busby,
Okay.
right? We went to the Cotton Club in Manhattan. You got to go there one time.
Now the
Yeah.
Cotton Club, that got
Never been
history,
there.
right?
Yeah,
Cotton
yeah.
Club go way
Yeah,
back, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And we had every hardcore rapper looking at us, man. They was like, say something. We had DOS Effects. They was like, say something. We gonna jump on stage and get you. But they didn't know that I was one of those hardcore rappers.
Because
know
you
what
had
I'm
the
saying?
flower shirts
Yeah,
on.
they thought because we had the flower shirts on that we was gonna be bubblegum. You know what I'm saying? So Heavy D was there, Daz Effects, Naughty by Nature. Everybody you could think of that was hardcore in the industry was there.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Waiting for us to pop off. And my boy was like, nah. He's like, no, don't do it. Because Finesse he wasn't a writer. He was a freestyler, so he can come off the top of his head.
Okay.
So if everybody went after him, he was like Biggie. He knew
Ooh.
Biggie real well too. So they kind of when they battled each other, it wasn't no
so they
writing.
even
They kind
battled.
of freestyled with each other, and they were nasty when it came to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just come off the top.
So I'd be like, listen, like I just sit back like, you don't want to bother him. You know what I'm saying? And DOS Effects got mad because we used the riggedy rough.
Yeah.
So they showed up and they was like, do that riggedy stuff and see what happened. You know what I'm saying? So Finesse was like, nah, don't do it because
So they felt like DOS felt like they invented the
they
the
felt like
rickety-rickety.
we took it away from them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
But
Wow.
and then we gave it to ABC. You know what I'm saying? So, because when Red came on, he was like, siggity, sucker, ducker, silly fight. So they was like, oh, they done took the whole vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they showed up looking for, you know what I'm saying, for a competition. And Finesse was like, nah, don't do that, man, because they're going to get, it's going to get ugly. You know what I'm saying? This is the night we need to just chill. This is our moment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
But to be honest with you,
Yeah.
when I came back home, I had people crawling in through my window.
What?
For
yeah,
what?
I'd be making music in my room,
Yeah.
and I have the windows open, and they come crawling in through my window. I turn around and be folks standing there like,
Because you got the fame now.
yeah,
The thing that's weird
Oh,
with
so
New
they
York,
wanted music.
I was just there. I was out there for a fight, and we were walking somewhere. But like you'd look at New York, and I swear, like you'd see the houses and the stairs.
yeah.
I would look at it, and I'm like, this feels like the Muppets or
Yeah.
something. And then
Yeah.
you would look
Muppets.
down an alleyway,
Yeah.
and there'd be like just a little bit of spray paint. It almost like all looked like a movie set. Like this shit don't even look real.
yeah,
Muppets.
yeah,
Like, do people live in these houses that are around
Yeah.
here? 'Cause,
Yeah,
I
those-
mean, it was just odd.
yeah.
But yeah, so people crawling through the windows. That's
Yeah,
insane.
and my
Yeah.
window, I had a gate on my window.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I had locked mines at night
Yeah. I mean.
because I lived in a bad area. You know, when this was all going on,
Yeah.
I lived in Bushwick. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it was the baddest area in New York City.
Right.
And so,
And it's the height of the crack epidemic. You got crackheads everywhere.
yeah, and so
I bet.
I was just gonna keep the window open. I don't care. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And then one day I turned around and somebody was standing in the middle of my living room,
Oh.
and I was like, "Yo."
Oh.
Oh, he was just there, and he was there for what? What he
Came
was,
in through the window. Oh, I just came to check in on you.
Oh,
what you
hey.
talking about?
I see what you're
How you
doing.
doing?
Not check in on you.
Tell him
Came
to bring
see
some
how you
food.
doing, really?
Yeah.
All right. Come
Wow.
on now. We're
That's
hungry.
crazy.
That's when it
man.
was.
Okay.
I gotta get out of there
Okay.
because people started seeing it as, even if you have to wait 6 months for the first royalty check. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For that
They
little
can
money
still
to
hit
come
that
in,
lick.
they're not looking at
Yeah.
that. They're looking at it like he was on
He
video.
got it now.
You know what I'm saying? He's rolling.
When
with
you say
Michael-
royalty, you're talking about BMI.
yeah,
Same-
ASCAP and stuff like
ASCAP,
that.
yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's rolling with Michael Bivins. He's down with Boyz II Men. They doing this, they doing that. He just got signed. Da da da.
Right.
We don't care. Let's see whatever he got. You know what I'm saying? That he got in there, we gonna get it.
People are so cheap.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had to go.
So
And then they went in
when
there.
when did you get up out of New York?
Huh?
When did you get up out of New York?
So I met my wife. That's when I left New York.
Oh, so okay, so you
Yeah.
met her and you're like, all right, I'm taking you with me and we're out of here.
No, I met her in
Oh.
Atlanta at a Jack the Rapper.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 1993.
Wow.
One of Mike's longtime friends had got killed in Chicago, and they were just uncovering his boulevard in I think it was Chicago, might have been in Chicago, and Mike was traveling to Atlanta for Michael Jackson's birthday party,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Yo, you want to come with me?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I got on a plane with him, and went to Atlanta, and we heard about this big convention, rap hip hop convention going on in downtown. And Mike was like, yo, let's go in there. You know what I'm saying? We have no invitation. They didn't pay for nothing. You know what I'm saying? We came in through the back way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Jumped over the banister. You know how you got the stairs that connect
Yeah.
and
The
jump
usual.
over and it connects to go into the door. We was doing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up in there. And then I remember going to the Bobby Brown exhibition.
Okay.
And we saw this young lady standing on the banister. And she had on this beautiful black dress. And it was me and another guy, and we was like, yo, you see her? And he was like, yeah, we see her. And then I turned around and she was gone.
Oh,
And I was
mysterious.
like, wow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then didn't know that she had went into the Bobby Brown exhibition.
Okay.
So then Mike said, yo, let's go inside and go check out Bobby Brown, right? So I walked in, and there she was sitting there talking to somebody else.
Okay.
And it was an empty seat right next to her. So I said, oh, this is the perfect opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Here
then
comes the New
I
Yorker.
started talking to her, and then she showed me, she was modeling.
Okay.
And she's like, this is what I do, you know what I'm saying? And she had a scripture on the back of her cards, which is very impressive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is we're
And I
talking
was
about your
like-
wife right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rachel.
Yep.
And
Scripture on the back of her.
we've been together ever since.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I love that.
So she was from the ATL, born and raised?
No, she's from Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Knoxville,
Okay.
Tennessee. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
And then you
So-
moved to the South.
So then you
Yeah.
moved to ATL.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
What did you think as a producer? What did you think about
Yeah.
Jermaine Dupri?
Mm.
So
You know, he's kind of a
How you
I don't
feel,
know. I don't
how
know
you feel
how I
about
feel.
Jermaine Dupri?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about him because I don't know him, but
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I would
see
put him in the
opportunities.
I would put him in
I
the
see his
bad.
opportunities. You know
I'd
what I'm
put him in
Yeah.
a bad guy category, but just because taking advantage of younger kids, I guess you would say, seeing that as an opportunity, and
Right.
I'm sure he's swerved many young kids, and once you get one kid group, you're gonna obviously get more.
Right.
But he came out here. He was actually DJing out here.
I remember
Yeah.
I went to one of his sets.
Yeah, over at the Win.
Yeah.
He was DJing there, and I think was he married to Janet Jackson?
Oh
No,
yeah,
I don't think he.
forgot
When I seen
about-
him, he wasn't married to her. No more.
forgot.
They were
he
they were
was-
they
they
were
was
like
together,
boyfriend and
though. Yeah, they
girlfriend
were
though
together
for a while. I
Yeah.
remember hearing that, but
He said he screwed that one up though.
Yeah.
He said
I
she
bet he
screwed it
did.
up.
I mean, if you break up with someone like Janet Jackson, you screwed up.
He said it on a documentary.
Dang.
He said I was
Yeah.
a fool. I messed up, and I was like, oh man, why?
yeah. Well, hopefully it wasn't for younger girls.
Yeah.
But music
Could've been.
wise,
Yeah.
I see where he
Is he
kind of
considered a producer?
yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Yep. Okay.
I see where he has his opportunities
Right.
to get better at what he does.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he sucks. You know what I'm saying? But he
Yeah.
just has more opportunities to kind of I think that he's at this point of his career and as a musician, I think he's trying to reinvent himself. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of weird because you really don't understand what he's trying to do.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with working with all kid groups like that. Like what do you do
Yeah.
as you get
Yeah.
older? Do you transition into?
Right.
He's probably just so used to the younger person mentality that it's hard to.
Right.
Right.
It's like, oh, I managed. He starts naming all these little groups, and
Well, see,
people
I
nowadays
guess-
would be like, I
Yeah.
don't want that guy to do my
I
stuff.
guess I know him for
Yeah.
Bow Wow, but I do know he has some influence with the Brat.
Mm-hmm.
I know he did some stuff with Luda and stuff. I'm trying to think what other younger.
He actually came out. They did a show out here. What is it called? Lovers and Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Luda, Usher,
Yeah.
and Little John,
That was a big
and then
one.
Jermaine
One of
Dupri
the
came.
dopest tracks he had was with
Everybody.
Jay-Z.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's
What did he do with Jay-Z? What song was that?
What's the name of the song? Oh,
Can you look that up, Isaac? Jermaine Dupri and
Top
Jay-Z.
down, screaming out, money ain't a thing.
Yeah.
That
Ew.
one.
Oh, that was.
Yeah.
Y'all want to
Yes.
party with me?
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't
Yeah,
even
that's
know
fire.
that.
Yeah,
no,
that
Jermaine
was
got some
fire.
fire. Jermaine got some
Yeah,
fire.
that was fire.
That was.
But I think Jay-Z was kind of like, nah,
nah.
we got to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, no, not that. We got to do that.
Yeah, I
You
can
know?
see that.
Well, there would have. I mean, shoot, that should have been his door right there to, to just level up,
Yeah.
into more established artist.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
versus whatever. What do you think about what from now, basically then to now, music and how it's changed? And are you still active?
Pretty much. So,
Okay.
the first question, I would say the difference between the music from back then and now is that the opportunities were very scarce back then. You really had to have a network back then.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You really had to know somebody to be in the business. You know what I'm saying? And they had to know that you were dope.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't taking no chances.
You couldn't just auto tune it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they bring you to that individual person, like they were sold on you. You know what I'm saying? They were like, "Yo,
Yeah.
he's fire."
What
you gotta
What did
put
you
him
think of? We had him as a guest on here, but of Soul for Real.
I never seen that.
Yeah, well, Soul for Real.
Candy Rain.
It was Candy Rain. It was a song.
That was
by
a hot track.
Heavy D
Yeah.
signed him.
That was a fight. That was a.
And we
fire-
had him in here, and
Yeah.
he said,
Yeah.
obviously they said they were very grateful, but
Yeah.
they basically said they got the heavy deal, but bad deal.
Yeah.
So they said they they
Right.
cleared it up before he had passed away,
Right,
and they're
right.
But I'm just like, that was the deal back then.
Yeah.
He would put them on, and then they take their money, and then that person takes the next person.
Yeah. But you see, a lot of people don't understand publishing. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah.
Or the BMI, ASCAP, or CSAC. They don't understand what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Or a lot of people don't know what copyrights are.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? How copyrights are married to your actual publishing. You know what I'm saying? Like who was the owner of this actual track?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when somebody is able to apprehend the track and say, "I'm the owner of this masters," what you gonna do? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What are you gonna do? I've given you $500,000.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you didn't know that I was actually signing you and signing all your rights away. You know what I'm saying?
Same
So I
time.
can own everything that you have. So
Yeah.
whenever you get that big paycheck,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? It's coming to me first. I'll give you a couple of points off the back end of it. But other than that, because I own the masters, it belongs to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Tag Team as a guest, and they never made a dime off that song. Went triple platinum, but
Nuts.
they signed a bad deal, so they only made money off performing.
Right.
And then something DC told me is he said he spent most of his adult life, every dime he had, fighting for these masters.
Yeah.
He said they got that Geico commercial was the biggest amount of money he made.
Mm-hmm.
So he said they did end up getting those rights back. He just said, but the millions he had to
Yes.
spend to get that back.
Yes.
He just said it was just, he lost a lot doing that. So he said, if he had to do it over again, he wouldn't have did it. But
Right.
it was just making the point. I mean, imagine
Yeah.
you don't even get paid off your own song,
Right.
No.
and so they had to travel,
Yes.
in
Yeah.
order to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's crazy. Prince, obviously was, a little mysterious stuff around Prince, but he was big on this whole
Yeah.
wanting to own his
he was a smart
catalog and his
businessman.
rights, and
Yeah.
Don't blame him.
yeah, I think he fought with the the music business for
Yeah.
a long time with
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Yes. Because he felt like we're more worth, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our value
Right.
is more than what they tell you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we're valuable. Like we're bringing them
Yeah.
these ideas,
These ideas.
and you know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
think about it. Like if I went and bought a $2,500 drum machine, right? I went and discovered all these sounds and sound packs and whatever like that, right? And sat there and for hours, you know what I'm saying? Put all these songs together, and then I gave them to you, and you were like, I take 50% of everything that you just did just now. You'd be upset.
I'd be hella upset.
You'd be like, yo, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And the difference is now artists are able to keep all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're smart, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're able to, if they understand copyrights and publishing, you know what I'm saying? They get to keep all of that. The only thing is that the only thing that kind of that hurts them is that the distributor is not going to push your record. You have to do all that work. You know what I'm saying? You have to do all your marketing,
Right.
promotion.
Right.
You know
You
what I'm
think
saying?
that's a lot easier though nowadays? Now with social media,
I feel like
No?
it is.
No. I think in some ways it is. If you can draw in a good crowd of individuals, if you know how to home into the individuals that appreciate your music, then it can be a little easier on you.
Yeah.
But when you're drowning in a sea of one point something billion individuals,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
I'm
saying?
just- yeah.
And the algorithm is going, no,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
algorithm, no, not
I keep.
them.
It's funny because that's a big
So hard to
that's a
stay
big
up.
word that
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah,
says is
I get that.
algorithm, and I forget who we had, but I asked him, and he was like, "There's no such thing as algorithm." I think
Oh, that was okay.
John.
That was
John
YPK.
Widow.
who
Oh,
It was
yeah,
YPK.
YPK.
Oh yeah, so he's a TikToker.
And Widow, I think too.
And we were asking him, you
Right
know,
there.
is there such thing as this algorithm and the times you post and whatever?
Mhm.
And you know, he's probably one of the biggest TikTokers right now.
Mhm.
And he just said, he was like, yeah, but no. I mean, he just said, you know, like, I didn't understand his content. It was, to me, it wasn't funny at all.
Mhm.
But it was a different niche of people he was going for. But he had just said he didn't think anything with algorithm. He's like, I can post at midnight, I can post at 9 a.m.
Okay.
But however, he's cranking, but he's, you know, he's a 23-year-old kid. But, you know, I always hear algorithm, and, you know, I try to
Right.
figure out what is the
I got
algorithm.
a question for you.
Yeah.
If I can tell AI to make an image for me,
Mm-hmm.
what makes you think there's no algorithm? If I can
No,
tell,
I get it.
if
Oh
I
my
can
God, yeah.
tell
That's it.
AI create this image exactly the way I want you to create it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it creates an exact image in your mind, right? And it puts it right in front of you, and you go, how in the world did it do that?
It's
Right?
100%
Can you
an
ask
algorithm.
AI what the algorithm is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
could.
you know,
What's the algorithm
It
AI?
says, you know what it says? It says something like, I can't really explain because it goes against terms or something and blah blah blah. Like it doesn't really explain it to you.
What
Right.
do you think you as a producer? I mean, does AI, you know, does it bother you? Does it scare you? Do you think? I mean, when they were gonna do that Kanye and let that song fly for the Grammy or whatever, I was sick about that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, there's no way you can do a song on AI
Right.
and it win a Grammy. That will totally fuck music
Yeah.
forever.
Or the Drake one. That was the Drake one.
Oh yeah, no, my bad. The Drake
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
So they were
No.
actually the Grammys were gonna let it go through,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, you can't do that, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that just defeats everything everybody's
Right,
been working
right.
for.
Right.
You know, so that I don't think they ended up. They said yes at first, but I think they changed their mind.
Right. Because what would be the point of voting if you let,
If you know that's not Drake.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
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 But I mean,
Right,
you know,
feels like it's
I had
cheating.
somebody, I had a DJ, shout out to DJ Swamp, but he had wrote a song for Dr. Dre, and he's like, I want you to get him this song, and he did AI with Dr. Dre's voice,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm listening to it, and it's just kind of creepy and crazy at the same time. But I was like, you know what, man?
Mm-hmm.
I said, first of all, this is Dr. Dre's voice, like maybe when he was in his late 30s.
Right. Right.
I said, you know, he's, you know, in his 50s now. And I said, and this sounds like a song he would have made back in his 30s.
Right.
And I go, can you give me the song back? But, you know, he sings vocals on. I go, do it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll send it to him. I still said, I don't believe it's in his demographic right now.
Right.
But when he sent it back with his vocals on it, I was like, okay, don't do
Right.
that. That's scary. And I'm like, how would it feel even as Dr. Dre or anybody
Mm-hmm.
to get this track with
Hear
your
your
voice? on
voice.
there?
Yeah.
Now,
And it's not even yours.
the
Yeah.
DOC,
Mm-hmm.
you remember he got his
Yeah, we just. I'll show you
happened?
a track.
What he-
AI
Uh-huh.
is actually, he's using AI to record an album because of that situation, because his voice is messed up.
Okay.
So what
Yeah.
they're doing is
Ooh.
they're actually training his voice, right, to sound like how he sounded when he first came out,
Wow.
Ooh.
and then
Oh,
they're
what?
using that to create his album.
Yeah, I did a little work not
At-
too long ago with DOC.
Freaky.
that I
At
can
what
show you.
point do you just retire though? Like your
Uh-uh.
voice don't work no more, and you like, nah, I still gotta drop another album.
You can hear with older artists. You know, Dr. Dre did a few recent songs, and I'm just like, whoa. You know,
You can
the
tell
vocals
they're
are going out.
different.
Yeah.
I
What-
feel
what
like at
is
that
this?
point you write for someone. Just write for
Isaac,
someone.
what is
So
this that you pulled up?
Yeah, this is
Right.
one of the new things that OpenAI came out with called Sora. They've been talking about it for like maybe the last day or two, and now you can just type out what you want your video to be. So I could say, you know, I could put you guys in a video, and it would find images, and it would make basically a realistic version. Like this is an AI created video now.
Oh wow.
So it's no longer just like the cartoony like six finger things.
Right.
It's starting to make perfect videos.
Mhm.
And so people
Wow.
are starting to they take Mr. Beast. There's big YouTubers who are being recreated in videos selling products now.
Oh,
So essentially,
wow.
yeah, AI is getting to the point now where eventually you won't be able to differentiate the
Is-
difference between
is there
I need
an-
to watch
and-
that.
Is there an owner of AI?
Wow.
Like what when people say this
yeah,
AI?
There's
who
different-
owns AI?
Is
There's
it
different companies
Elon?
that have
Yeah,
like
there's a few different companies.
Yeah.
That is
Okay.
true.
Elon funds the big one.
I feel like it's a general AI.
I know OpenAI.
Yeah,
is
I'm not.
Google.
I haven't went
Yeah.
on AI.
Yeah.
I haven't even dabbled. What type of programs do you use nowadays? Are
Man,
you
I
on? Are
use-
you on Pro Tools? Or are you on some old school?
Reasons.
Woo. Fruity
is
Loops?
crazy. I was using Fruity Loops,
Mhm.
but because I
Reason
record a
is-
lot, like with vocals and stuff like that, I use
Mhm.
Reasons. I use Machine.
Okay.
Machine is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I use Pro Tools,
Okay.
but I like Reasons more because it's more flexible.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? It has more of a like a feel. Like you can feel out everything that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You can turn off the snap, and you know what I'm saying. You can just if you something doesn't sound right, you can kind of you know what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
fix it, and you know what I'm saying, make it sound the way you want it to sound.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was always pushed. People are like, if you're a pro, you got to use Pro Tools.
Yeah.
But I always tell people, I mean, there's a lot of DJs and people I know, and they might be on like Ableton too.
Yeah.
Mm.
But it's like if you learned it and that's what your craft is, stay with where you're at.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I
What-
mean, it's just odd when you get with a new artist and
Yeah.
they're,
Right.
they're at the most recent Pro Tools,
Yeah.
and you might not even be on Pro Tools.
Right.
You know, so that'll put that barrier. But I always tell people stick with, you know, I know people on Reason, Fruity Loops still.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, what were you gonna say? Ann?
Now I was gonna say, what song you feel like you most proud of? Like, what song that you produced that you like? This one.
Can you guys play music?
Can we can play some music? Can we?
Yeah,
Have
the YouTube will.
I love that,
will
yeah.
mute that
No, I mean
section.
I have like a thumb drive with some music on it. Can
Oh
you
yeah,
play
yeah.
it?
I'll take
let's hear that. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I'm gonna play a song that I just did with Cool Kim from the UMCs.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
He's a rapper from the early '90s that was very popular. Now, when Wu-Tang Clan came out,
Mm-hmm.
Method Man was his actual best friend. They were best friends with each other. So when the Protect Your Neck came out,
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Method Man kind of disrespected him in a way.
And that on that track.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Enough respect change to the 1-6. Ooh, I mean, oh. So when he said ooh, right?
Mhm.
The ooh is UMCs because they felt like the UMCs. They're from Staten Island. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Method is from Staten Island, so he felt like they were supposed to represent, but they crossed over.
Yeah.
So niggas they don't know over, but they don't know no
Crossed
better.
over.
What I do? What I say I do? And that's that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that kind of like everybody was like, oh, yo, they dissed y'all or whatever like that. So, but the UMCs is a very popular. You know what I'm saying? Rap group. One of the rappers from the group actually did Magic Stick for 50 Cent.
Oh wow.
Yeah, with Lil Kim on it.
Yeah.
And I just finished doing some music with Cool Kim from the group UMCs.
Mm-hmm.
And the song
When you
is
say
called-
that, I always think you're gonna say Cool Keith.
I got
Like
it
you
mixed
like-
up with him too.
Yeah.
And we did a song called "Don't Talk No More,"
Okay.
and the song just
Went crazy.
and
Went crazy.
college radio just loved it. They ate it up.
Oh wow.
And we got to like number 3, like above Eric Sermon.
Yeah.
We got to number 3 on the college radio chart.
See, that's big,
what,
too,
What
getting
happened?
college.
What happened to Eric Sermon? Where did he
He just
go?
did another album.
Okay.
Eric
He
Sermon?
did. He went and recruited all these Salt and Pepper. He just put out a record with Salt and Pepper.
He just did a record with Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
Eric Sermon.
Yes.
Oh wow.
He put out a whole album with a bunch
Was
of
he the
old
one?
school
Did he
rappers.
jump out a window
Eric
or
Sermon?
something? Yeah.
I
Am I
don't
thinking
know.
of the wrong guy?
Oh.
There's somebody
Nah.
who jumped out a
He was.
window.
I heard he almost had a heart attack. He was talking about where he was close to death, and they had to put like some type of stuff under his tongue
Yeah.
to keep him alive. That's the last thing I heard that he went through tragically.
Was he the guy who sung "Just Like Music"? Is that Eric Sermon?
Yeah,
Just like
Yeah.
music.
the Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think the Bushwick jumped out of the window from My Mind is Playing Tricks on Me. My Mind is Playing Tricks on Me.
No, I think it was Eric Sermon. I know who, but yeah, Bushwick Bill.
Oh yeah. Then I thought he jumped out of the window.
We'll look it up after, but I'm pretty sure it was Eric Sermon because it was someone like, why did you do that?
Sometimes you just gotta jump out the window.
You go where?
It's always over
Where
a
you
girl.
going when you jump out the window?
Down. That's where you go.
See what's going
Hopefully-
down.
That doesn't
yeah,
sound pleasant.
Yeah, hopefully you're on the first floor.
They had a song.
Yeah.
There was a song called
No,
"Jumping
this
Out the
guy,
Window."
I want to say
Well,
was on
damn.
like the 8th or 9th floor, but so
So this song right here is a song I just
Crazy.
recently did with Cool Kim
Okay.
Yeah.
from the UMCs. It's called "Don't Talk No More." So
Okay.
if you guys can hear it, if you can play it.
Yeah, just give me
Yeah.
1 second. I'm just getting it.
yeah, I saw. I just on the file popped up. It said EDM. Do you do any type of EDM
Oh yes.
producing?
Oh yeah. I have
Yeah.
a song with him.
Okay.
That's an EDM song.
Yeah, no, I was telling him about
Oh, wow.
DeVille. DeVille is the greatest thing about DeVille being the #1 remix producer. He does a little bit of both, EDM and hip hop. Is this it right here?
That's it. Hey.
Give it a little more volume,
Yeah.
Isaac. I'm not familiar with this guy. He sounds great.
never could, never ever been. Yeah, imagine me and actually, you can end up dead up a casualty. Keep your head up, yes, what did it have to be? A little
this is
laughter
nice.
after the bloodbath to come after me. Yeah.
So you did the beats for this?
It's another one I'm gonna let you guys hear. It's called.
How long ago was this one?
Recently, maybe. We released it when? About 4 months ago.
Wow.
Hey, you still got it, Mark.
Yeah.
You
We got another one.
Still got it.
Getting ready to drop called "Fired Up."
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you guys say that. too.
Okay.
All right, go. Can you go to
We
that
getting
one?
exclusive
Isaac?
stuff right here. Let's
That
go.
was fire.
That was dope.
What was it
Okay.
one more time?
Yeah.
It's called "Fired Up." You say
And
that?
and
Fire
I'm
it
not.
up.
Fired up.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that guy, but he
I
sounds.
know he did sound nice,
He
right?
sounds super
Yeah.
nice.
Fired
You
up,
said you-
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one
You
is-
say he's from the
this is
90s?
an anthem right here. This is.
Oh, you made an anthem chain. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Same.
good.
Is it same artist?
Yeah,
Yep. Same. And where's he? Is he living out here? No.
Georgia.
Okay.
How y'all feel?
Mm.
Yeah, how y'all feel?
That sounds like Flavor Flav. Really.
How y'all feel? I say, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. How y'all feel? Come on, how y'all feel? What? How y'all feel? We say, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. How y'all feel? Fired up, so I'm tired of lying, slaying. I'm lining them up. My desire is fire, I'm flaming. My timing is such, so I glide like the planes and fly in the sky. And
Wow.
for real, how y'all feel? Be cool in the clutch. Who you fooling? My ops getting ruined. We screwing them up. What we doing? These haters pursuing. They doing too much. But my movement is showing.
This is insane. How old is this guy?
52 years old.
Wow.
How old?
52.
Damn.
Nasty.
Killing it.
Crazy.
He is nasty.
Nasty.
Yeah.
He's not losing his voice at all.
No. I did all the music.
Wow.
So how did you turn that down, Isaac? So how did you how did you guys do this collab? Did you send him a beat and he sent you back the?
Yeah, so what happened was Kim was pretty much doing these 1 minute takedowns, right? He was taking all these old school beats and he was flipping them, right?
Okay.
And I ran into him on a live one time. I didn't know who he was. And all these people were just pouring out their souls to this guy. I'm like, yo, I said, let me just see if I can get on live with him. And so he and I started talking and whatever. And I started telling him about my musical problems, right? And he's like, oh, word? I was like, yeah, so whatever. That was the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
He put out a 1 minute takedown. And I was like, this dude is insane.
Okay. Yeah.
He
He's
is
crazy.
insane. I can't believe I've
Yeah.
Right? And but he said that people were not giving him dope music,
Mm.
right? And I was like, yo, I got something for you, right? And I did the Don't Talk No More beat.
Right.
And I said, Joe Kim, I got something for you. Sent it to him, right? In 2 hours, he called me back and was like, yo, listen to this.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, we got to
smacking.
make sure this is crazy, the way we promote it and we put it out, blah, blah, blah.
That's dope.
I said, all right, cool. Then he started doing the lives where he was telling everybody, oh, y'all fired up, right? And I started going, yo, maybe we should do a song called Fired Up,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I sent him the beat, and he put, you know what I'm
He
saying?
laid this on there.
Everything to the
Wow.
beat. And we have a young individual from the Netherlands. His name is 808, Diffraction. And we sent him all the music. He's a genius. Guy's 18 years old. He mastered everything for us. You know what I'm saying? And it was just ridiculous. And he's like, yo, so we found like a little team of individuals, you know what I'm saying? Like I started my own thing called 50 Producers.
Okay.
So where I was actually recruiting producers from different states, you know what I'm saying? And finding the best ones to be a part of my 50 producer situation.
Oh wow.
Then I started a magazine called 50 Producers.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And then I was putting like celebrities on the front of the magazine cover.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Calvin Harris, who did Music Soul Child. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that was the whole purpose of it. You know what I'm saying? Was
Yeah.
to just mentor other producers. You know what I'm saying? Open doors, open opportunities for them to work with other individuals that I've met. You know what I'm saying? And then give them that, you know, that credit. You know what I'm saying? Of
Yeah.
where I've worked with a
was that
dope
a
artist.
was that guy
That's
a,
dope.
was he a signed artist? The guy on the track?
Yeah, he was
At one
signed. He
point.
was one of the UMCs.
Okay, one of the
Yeah,
youngsters.
and the actual poster
Mm-hmm.
was on the Martin show
Oh wow.
on his back
For real?
wall. Yeah,
Oh wow, that's funny. That's
I
dope.
love
yeah.
So do you still have just as much passion today as you did back then?
Oh man, I mean, everything that I do now, I don't know if you guys follow me, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if you can hear it. Like, you go to my wall and you listen to all my music.
Right.
You'd be like, yo, this guy is ridiculous.
Well, what's crazy, like I said, and
that.
I don't know what it is, but these guys will attest. I have people they come across me, so I don't know what it was about you, but
Yeah.
and I didn't hear the music.
Yeah.
But some people come across me and they're always like, "Where'd you find this person?" I'm like, "I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just see somebody, and I'm like, and I'm vibing
Yeah.
with what they got going on, and
Right.
I saw the Boys to Men and stuff like that, and I was like, man, we gotta talk to this person.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
far we've been lucky. We haven't
Right.
we haven't got the wrong one yet.
Right.
Are you
That's dope.
are you working with anyone right now?
Well, I'm pretty much, what I did was I put out like a post on my wall, and I was like, yo, I'm looking for people to collaborate with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So you're taking in artists.
Yeah. So it's pretty much,
Man, I got a whole bunch of them for
it's
you.
a big old crazy situation when it comes to collaboration.
Yeah, I bet.
what I'm saying?
I bet.
Hey,
And,
Reverie.
and so I said, you know what? I said, how we can kill this situation, you know what I'm saying? Is that, look, I got a resume. You guys know I have a resume. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to collaborate with you. I'm not going to ask you for nothing. All we're going to do is we're going to go 50-50 on splits. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That'll give you a resume. You know what I'm saying? That'll keep my name buzzing.
Yeah.
What about that? And they was like, yo, and they jumped on it. And they was like, yo, this is dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got several other people that, you know what I'm saying, that heard the music and was like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I am a professional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you got a budget, I work with your budget.
Right.
I'm not
right.
going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'm still active. I'm very active. You know what I'm saying? My ears stay to the street.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love
Yeah.
it. The hustle
I
never
tell people all the
stops.
time, music
Yeah.
is the hardest business
Yeah.
to live off,
You
especially
can't-
as a producer.
Yeah, you can't get me to stop.
Right.
Like I have a folder of beats in there that'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm always ready. Like if LL Cool J ever popped up and was like, "Yo, give me a folder," here you go, right here,
Whatever
with
you
no
want.
problems.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm
Let's go.
saying?
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, do you think you've adjusted with the times? Do you think
For sure.
like
I have
putting you
my
head to
own
head
sound.
with putting you like head to head with say like a 21-year-old up and coming producer?
Yes,
Still got.
I have my own sound, so it's like nobody can compete with me in my own sound.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
I've never let boom bap go away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Ooh,
saying?
yeah,
So
love
it's
boom bap.
like, oh, sweat. So I got my own sound. It's called Tribal Fusion.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
That's
I
dope.
create all my music around this thing called Tribal Fusion. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and how long have you been in Vegas for?
Since what, 14, 15?
14, 15.
14, 15.
Huh? Yeah, everything is original.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a very competitive individual. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, my ears were tuned to, because you got to remember where I come from. I come from hip hop.
Yeah, you come from
You know
that
what I'm saying?
birth
And I
of
Yeah.
watched all the greats.
battling.
You know what I'm saying? Listen to Dr. Dre. I listen to Teddy Riley. You know what I'm saying?
Teddy
I listen to Dark Child.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Scott Scorch. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
listen to them.
Right.
So it's like, okay, what do you do to make yourself stand out? And remember, my name stands out, Mark Payne. Like one kid told me, yo, your name is real easy to remember. I love your name.
Yeah.
And he was an 18 years old kid. And I'm like, wow. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I didn't even know he was following me. And he was like, yo, I love how your name just comes across as Mark Payne, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And
know
is that your government name?
No, my real name is Mark Wilson.
Mark Wilson.
But my,
So that
my
was-
stage name is
Oh, I
Mark
like
Payne.
that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
like
saying?
That's dope.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, where can people find you at on the internet?
So pretty much you can find me on Instagram at The Real Mark Payne,
Okay.
Facebook at The Real Mark Payne, SoundCloud Mark Payne, Audio Mac Mark Payne. You know what I'm saying? Spotify Mark Payne. Everything is pretty much Mark Payne. If you Google me, you can see everything about me. You know what I'm saying? In my knowledge panel. So the Google has the knowledge panel off to the side. You can find me there anywhere in that knowledge panel. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a TikToker, so you can't.
Do you have an
see me there.
IMBD?
Huh?
IMBD? Do you have one of those?
No.
I don't know nothing about that. The DC from Tag
like
Team.
movie
Yeah.
He
credits
was
and
telling.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he was telling me that he was so immaculate of how he filmed how he filled that out. That's how he got the Geico commercial. He
Yeah.
said, I didn't even apply for Geico.
Yeah.
They found me.
Yeah.
So I didn't know because he asked me. He's like, do you have an IMBD? And I was like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Amazon owns them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
It used to be like a real popular. Well, it still is a popular website for like actors and stuff like
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
Got it.
Yeah.
How about you, Little Rach? Where can they find you at?
Well, you can find me on the interwebs at Lil Rach, LALRAYCH.
Yep.
How about you, Anthony?
Right now, like I said, I'm promoting my live auction, so you can find me at Reheated Leftovers on Whatnot.
Leftovers.
Reheated Leftovers on Whatnot. Come to those live auctions and
Please
get some
go on
fly
there and
shit.
watch that. That shit killed me when I
Yes.
seen him on there.
Let me get
He,
you fly.
he was trying. He was doing a deal 2 for $6. I was gonna say I'm $5.75. I ain't budging.
You go bug, bro.
But,
Up to 75.
yeah, and then unfortunately my page got stolen. Don't know why, but I am on just Green Room Radio on everything. I did start another personal page, but I cannot keep up with 2 pages, so I'm just the only one on. Well, Lil Rach is on Green Room too, so don't send any weird pictures through there.
Yeah, you freaks.
How about you, Isaac? Where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. I guess-
Twitter guy.
Twitter.
You know,
X.
okay, listen.
Call
next time-
None of us.
X.
None of us. He's the youngest one, and he's on Twitter. Like what?
Yeah. Hey, but really fast before we
Yeah.
go, I did want to put this on earlier. So
You wanted to put it on? Put it on.
Oh,
Hi.
Oh,
Oh,
my
no.
I
God.
wasn't born again.
what is this?
This is
This
the
was his
first.
breaking board.
This Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Bro, I ordered that shit. My parents were pissed.
Or The King Tut. It's all right here in a breaking and popping book. Almost
my
100
gosh.
pages that simply and
Yes.
clearly take you through the moves. In a few minutes, you could be doing backspins that will flip out your friends, or eye-popping moves like the centipede.
Oh my
Hilarious.
My
God.
step-by-step guide starts with the basics.
And he got
but
the
takes
Michael
you all
Jackson
the way
jacket
to
on.
tough moves like the windmill. It's all right here in my easy-to-follow book. And tell Mom and Dad it's the safe way to break and pop, not the things you shouldn't try. With my book comes a fold-out
See,
breaking board.
I ordered that.
Carry
My
around
mom and
to
dad
give
were
you
pissed. They tried to get their money.
You actually had one?
I ordered it.
That's you right there.
Can you rap?
I wish it was.
Dude, I can see that.
Plus, this instruction poster to hang on the wall with even more breaking and popping.
hilarious.
You know how they say not 18 and up, but there was just a way you could just quick order it. My mom and dad were like, "What the hell is this?"
Plus, you get the right kind of music.
Wow, that's crazy.
Hey,
All right.
I want one.
Was there something else you wanted to say before we roll out of here?
Radical.
No, I mean, bet you there's something that I've missed.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you was playing the track, the one you did with Novel. But
Oh, she wanted me to play more tracks for you guys.
Yeah, we'll play some tracks when we get up out of here. We hit our hour, but thank you very much, Mark, for coming
Thank you,
through.
Mark.
Yes.
We appreciate
Yeah,
it. We
it's
will
dope.
definitely check in with you, see you again.
for sure.
I've got a gang load of artists that, after hearing stuff like that I'll definitely send your way.
Awesome.
So, all right, y'all.
Yeah, thank you for coming
thank you.
through.
Peace out.